Let's talk about ChatGPT, which is in a bit of legal hot water at the moment. Joining us in the studio to make sense of it is the head of digital and data at the law firm Tamimi. He is a partner. He's David Yates. Morning, David.
Good morning.
So, what's the story here? It's a class action lawsuit against OpenAI, which is the creator of ChatGPT. And the allegation is this, that they stole data from the public to train the chatbot.
Yeah, it's a complicated case, and the court document's 158 pages, but essentially it comes down to two actions. The first action is scraping the web for personal data, and the second action is using data that people upload into ChatGPT to train the models. This is all about using personal data to train the model to get better.
Okay. Well, the first one I can understand, that would be nefarious bad behaviour. Scraping the web for personal data, fine. But surely the whole point of using something like ChatGPT is that it is artificial intelligence, it is machine learning, and by definition, it's going to use whatever question you put into it.
I'll take the second point first. You're right. And in fact, the terms of use of ChatGPT say that they will use certain data to develop and improve the model. So that argument seems tough. But going back to the first point, that personal data is publicly available. I mean, in the claim document, they creatively describe it as private data, but in fact, it's not private. It's publicly available. You could read it. You could use it to make a cold call. You could use it to create a customer list. It's publicly available. And then the question is, well, what's the claim based on? And it's based on fundamentally 2 points. That people have a property right in their personal data. That's the first point. And the second point is they needed consent. OpenAI needed consent to take the personal data. Now, the property right, that's a creative argument. The Californian courts seem to be heading in that direction, but generally speaking, personal data is not property as such. So stealing and theft of personal data are misconceived concepts. You can't steal something that's not property.
So if they hack into my Gmail account, that's theft. But if they just take my email address from my public LinkedIn profile, that's okay?
If they hack into your Gmail account, that's a breach of security. That's unauthorized access. It's not theft as such. It's unauthorized access. Information can't be property in the sense that there's no artificial scarcity. That's what you need for property. If I give you my personal data, I can give it to someone else, I can give it to someone else, I can give it to someone infinitely reproducible. That's not property. However, the court case does say that some of the Californian judgments, the courts, are actually tending towards the idea of personal data being property.
I know a lot of your clients in this region are following it closely. You've got, obviously here in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, a lot of work going into AI, but you were saying you've been doing a roadshow around the region and the room is packed.
We've been talking about generative AI legal issues generally, not just confined to this case, but a range of issues arising from generative AI in presentations in Kuwait and in Bahrain and in the UAE. There's real interest in the benefits of AI and the risks, not only from what OpenAI might be doing, but for users of these systems. There are serious privacy risks, professional negligence risks, etc., arising from using AI systems, and people are very interested in that.
Could this case in California serve as some kind of precedent for what happens in Bahrain, for example?
Insofar as the privacy point is concerned, yes, it's a very important case when it comes to whether people consented to their information being collected, even though it was publicly available. That's a very important point for us to know about.
What other kind of questions do you get when you're in the room and you're giving your presentation and then you go, right then, who's got the first question? And the hands go up.
Well, a lot of people get surprised by the fact that data is not property. But the second point that people ask about is, well, what if I use ChatGPT in my professional services role and a mistake is made? Who's liable? Is it me or is it ChatGPT? A lot of the questions we get are around, well, what if the artificial intelligence system gets it wrong? Who's responsible? And the short answer is you. These things are tools. They're tools. They're not. The system itself is not liable. The user is.
And what kind of use cases are you coming across in this region in terms of what people are using generative AI for?
Well, a whole range of reasons. I mean, whether you're in the advertising industry, whether you're in the consulting industry and you're trying to map data flows, whether you're trying to come up with creative branding ideas, we're trying to rewrite something that you're not very good at writing, when you're trying to generate an agreement that you haven't seen before. There's a whole range of ways in which people are using it. The biggest issue is that there's no guarantee that what's generated is correct.
Do you use it?
I do use it.
Yeah.
I do use it. I use it often as a prompt to my thinking, or as a second guess on something I've come up with, or to see what other people might have done in different circumstances.
And how reliable would you say it is?
You can ask ChatGPT the same question 3 different times, and you might change the case of the first letter in the first word, and you'll get 3 different answers.
Okay.
So I would caution against relying on the output at all. It's often useful as a guide.
Can't let you go without talking about your nationality. You're fresh off a plane from Perth in Australia.
Yes.
You're a proud Aussie.
Yes.
Yesterday, Australia won the second Ashes Test match. Thomas and I spent Eid basically sitting on our sofas watching it and weeping at the end. You were following it from afar, weren't you?
I was following highlights and scores, etc.
Grudgingly, did we say congratulations, Tom?
We do, all's fair in peace and cricket.
You've got 3 more matches.
They come quick and fast, don't they? The next one's on Thursday, so not much of a turnaround, that's for sure.
ChatGPT, can England win the Ashes? One word answer: no. We're going to let you go because you are fresh off a plane and you've got a good day's work now, haven't you? So thank you so much for making time for us this morning. Really appreciate it.
Thanks.
It's the voice of David Yates, partner, head of digital and data at the law firm Tamimi and Co.
Dubai Eye 103.8.
Join the conversation.